Disclaimer: anything we say can and will be used for entertainment purposes only. You have the right to remain silent, but that would be no fun. We're not medical professionals or scientists, and most times I'm not even that smart. We're just here to share our opinion and exercise our rights under the First Amendment of freedom of speech. We're just here to talk about things that are real or not for real. That being said, let's get into some higher minds. And welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to episode 6 of Higher Minds. Tonight we have a very fun and intriguing topic with a newly acquired friend of mine, but I have a feeling many of you already know him. So let's hear it for Joe King Explores the Realm. How you doing, Joe?
What's Thanks for having me. Good.
All right. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for being here. Also, can't forget Mr. Super, another person that you all know and love. What's going on, Mr. Super?
Just glad to be here, be a part of it.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited about this one. This sounds like an interesting one. I've been talking to Joe off and on for the last week or so, and he seems like he's got some interesting stuff for us tonight. So, and if you didn't notice, I got two of the three people here that did that opening song, and the third one I just noticed is in the chat with Boston Rays. So these are the two guys that came up with the Higher Mind song concept, and so it's fun to be doing a show with you guys.
Appreciate it.
Brought us all together, buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
This is the show that just needed to be.
It is. Apparently, you came up with the concept over a year ago, and it's finally here. So I hope I do it justice.
Mr. Super finally found a good partner to get it going.
He's been a tremendous help.
Yep.
He's been awesome.
Yep. Mr. Super got me going and all this stuff, man, and got me some confidence, to get on here and talk.
Dragged you out, put you in the public eye.
Got to give Ray some props too on that one. Yeah. The first time I was thinking about the very first night that I got online. Mr. Super was there, and how we bonded on cymatics. How we the first time that we'd seen cymatics, we were upset that we didn't know that. We didn't taught that.
Mad.
Yeah, as a younger mind, that concept in your mind as you're young puts you ahead to learning, you know what I mean? And so we were just like, why didn't I know that when I was 5, man?
Dude,
You
I'm not
know,
over it.
Yeah.
I'm still angry as hell that they hid
Mhm.
that from us, man.
So much. In fact, last 2 weeks, I feel better now, but I had a gnarly like infection in my finger. It was like a splinter or something at work, and the thing got infected, man. And it was huge. It was red and big. And I was like, I don't want to go to the doctor. Avoid the doctor no matter what. And so it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And then about 2 weeks into it, man, like last Tuesday night, I'm sitting there going, oh, I remember I got some of this in my jar in my medicine cabinet. So Tuesday night, I take a shot of this stuff. Wednesday morning, take another one. By the time I get home from work Wednesday night, it's ready to heal and get the pressure out. And just one day with this stuff, which no one ever taught us about. No, you know, everyone should know. Everyone should have it in their medicine cabinet, and virtually no one does. And that's
I don't know what it is. What it is you're showing?
Yeah, this stuff, right? The colloidal silver.
Colloidal silver. Huh, I've never heard of it.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, dude, it's mad. Like instead of peroxide on your cuts, you put colloidal silver. Like doorknobs used to be made out of silver, and silver spoon in the mouth means to get the germs out. It's just like or garlic or something. It kills germs.
Yep.
So everyone should have it, and virtually no one does. You know.
And parasites. So colloidal
just get it at any
like nanoparticles of silver in solution.
Huh. And you can just get it at any like Walgreens or something.
Yeah, I got it at either GNC, I think it has it, and we have a place called Natural Grocer that has like the best vitamins, the grocery store. Yeah, like GNC, natural grocery stores and stuff like that. It's a company you can order online, I'm sure. Yeah, but it's just, you know, it's simple. Everybody's, you know, in the old days, everybody knew about it. Like we're going to talk about ancient cultures like Tibetan culture, the Ainu people in Japan, all these people that are really, you know, the modern regular America, Germany, China, Japan. That's all the new regimes that have gotten rid of the old ways and old knowledge, old ways of construction, old ways of, you know,
healthcare, parasitic, deworming, all that shit that they don't want us to know about, dude.
Ray's being a smart ass. Me and Ray got in a little fight a couple weeks ago, so that's.
Yeah, well, he said earlier in the chat that
he got me mad.
That, he said you were the reason he started his I think it's the second channel or whatever, because he's seen you doing the going around. So yeah,
I saw him. That's funny because I saw he was on Stuffed Beagles years ago, doing his first boots on the ground, and he got me inspired to do it. That's what he's being funny. He's a funny guy. He's from Boston. I gotcha. Yeah. Oh, there's my wife's in there, Mona K. Nice.
Hi, Mona.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we go through here real quick, and I'll do a quick shout out.
Okay.
To everybody, and then we can just go ahead and we can get started. You know, get into this because
sounds good.
I want to here. So we got Tiniest Squish was first in the chat tonight. And then Joe King, Mr. Super, of course, Real or Not for Real, which is me. Sandy Diva, hey Sandy, and then Boston Ray, and Real or Not for Real. Oh, Rebecca 345. Hey Rebecca, good to see you here. Thanks for coming. Boston, Rebecca, and then Mona K. You say that was
that's my wife.
You know Mona?
Yeah.
Oh, it's your wife. Hi, Mona.
Married
good
for
to
a
meet you.
long
And then we got Salad just popped in here at the last second. So that's who we got so far. Everybody, thank you for being here.
I invited Salad earlier today. That's cool, man. Glad you came, Salad.
I'll share it too.
If you're a friend of Mr. Supers, you're a friend of mine.
Exactly. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, anybody Mr. Super sends over, they got to be good people. So
Auto friends.
I did
auto
auto
friends. Yep.
friend exactly. Okay, got it up on my phone as well. Sweet.
All right.
And the great guy, Ray. Oh, okay. I'm gonna try to ignore Ray.
Oh, we don't ignore anybody here.
We don't know anybody.
Well, I mean, unless they deserve it, but
no, yeah, for sure.
All right.
Okay.
So you gonna start out with something to present?
Yeah. So it's basically the idea of kind of like everybody, gets into what they're really interested in, and a lot of people like kind of the esoteric side of things, and and I like we're talking about our community. I call it a community, and it's a big tent. You got your bud flutters and your flat earthers and everybody else, and your Mandela effect, and we're all in this under the same tent. We're all nuts, I think, and we're divergent type of thinkers, and I think that's what and so for me, I've been in construction my whole life. I'm a wrestler. I'm a wrestling coach. But I like the physical world, man. I like this place that we're at. I love getting up every day and being in this realm. Once I figured out that it's a flat realm that we live in, and so I like to go out and find old buildings, old structures, things that show that all these timelines just ain't right. There's no way none of this stuff could have all been built in 1860. Some of these things. And so I've got my four places that are just amazing. We got to visit, and I got my favorite one at the end, but I put together a little thing here and for people to just kind of wrap their head around how I see things and how I think that, well, let's see, we could just get into it if you guys want to.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely. So let me see here.
It's a pretty big stretch when you look at the volume of buildings that they say went up in that time frame. When we're in the middle of the Civil War, that's when everything in the world got built, dude.
Right. Right. Yeah,
right.
There's no way. So actually, I should have got this before. What do I gotta do here? I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because I was thinking about this last night because me and my kid wanted to get out and just get some fresh air. So we went down to campus at Ohio State and just like walked around in the park and looked at all the buildings. And Ohio State was founded in like late 1800s. And so, the majority of these buildings were all built back then, and they were just amazing. They were beautiful, artwork. I mean, they looked like they were in better shape than most buildings that were built 20 years ago. You know what I mean? And like it was just incredible. So I'm gonna have to go by and go back and get some pictures of some of that stuff because they were all built in 18. What's that?
Yeah, they're masterpieces. All these old buildings, they're amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, they're incredible. Just on the outside, we didn't even get to go into any of them because it's summertime and everything was closed early because none of the kids are in school. But yeah, one of these days I'm going to go back in and get some film on the inside. And but yeah, I mean, I love it. We got a lot of old buildings in Columbus that look like they shouldn't even be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, yeah.
So
looks like LJ popped into the chat. Hey, LJ.
Sorry, I had this thing downloaded and I'm trying to find it real quick. Where did I put that?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Okay.
So what's new with you, Mr. Super? Anything?
I got a leaky shower valve. I'm wishing Joe was here.
Oh, buddy, I got you. What's going on with it?
From a slow drip to is dripping. It's more than dripping. It's like and the worst part for me, man, it's the hot side that's leaking. So not only am I losing water, but I'm losing hot water nonstop now, dude. So
yeah,
sounds like the cartridge. Man, the only way to stop it is to shut off water to the whole house, and I don't want to do that. So
Yeah.
I was hoping
I had a
I was going to service it next week. Dude, this ain't going to wait. This is going to have to get done like tomorrow or the next day at the latest.
right. My buddy's handle popped off. And when he was in the shower, man, he called me up screaming. He's just like, dude, it's freaky when it comes. It's 60, 70 pounds of pressure. And yeah, you got to shut the whole house down.
Oh yeah, dude.
And then and get that cartridge out and usually take it down and say, hey, do you have this cartridge? You know? Yeah.
Yep, that's what I got, man. A Delta with cartridges, yeah. Luckily, it's the simpler type, like the older school one, so it doesn't have like the temperature, the anti-scald stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it doesn't have the ball because like it doesn't move up and down. It just turns to turn it all the way to the right and it shuts all the way off. So it should be the simpler, like the $30 valve. The ones with anti-scald in that are like $70. No.
Yeah, exactly.
And the ones with balls in them, you got to replace little cups and springs and all kinds of fiddly crap. It's not just a plug-in cartridge type deal. So, still, even though I know all of that, I still wish you were here, Joe.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's see here. What am I doing wrong? Okay, I think we got her. Here. Okay. I was going to do okay, am I sharing now or no?
You are, yes.
Okay.
You're on stage.
This is kind of funny right here. I was going to cut, remember the Ed Sullivan show? I mean, it was kind of before our time, but I was just going to edit it. And in the beginning of my little video, I was just going to put, really, it's a really, really big show for you tonight. Really big shoe. And so I have this on here, but I'll fast forward through it. But man, this song for the Ed Sullivan show is a trip. It's I listen to the lyrics and I'm like, man, this thing is nuts. But
yeah, I remember. I don't know if I've ever actually seen the show, but I know of it. Yeah,
I remember the show, and even as a youngster, he was the one that rolled out what they called the British invasion at the time. And even as a child, man, when I saw him roll that out, and they didn't come and like hook him off the stage, I'm like, well, I'm done with this cat. I never watched it again.
Really? How come? Yeah. Why? How come you didn't like it?
Because of the British invasion. Like he was honoring the Beatles coming here. I'm like, dude, don't you know about the Revolutionary War? What did you miss something?
Interesting, dude. That's totally interesting. And if you listen to the lyrics of this thing, it's goofy, man. He's talking about, it's kind of a trip. But yeah, I'll just start playing it now. And so we're gonna get into a few different, like I said, 3 places that are just absolutely blow my mind. Go over them real quick. And then we'll get to my final one here. Let me grab my notes. Okay.
8 o'clock Sunday night, there's a man comes around and he makes things right. Everybody's feeling gay when they hear this fella say, it's a really big shoe tonight. A really big shoe tonight.
Really big shoe.
16 tons of atomic ore is what he said.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Then listen to the rest of this.
I missed that.
He goes, next year's Army Navy score. Like, what is it? Isn't it kind of
wow, right?
Yeah.
First few years of the Civil War.
It's about the first 4 battles of the Civil War. Yeah.
Yeah. And then listen to the rest of this, buddy.
Really big show tonight. It's a really big show tonight. Shoe, not show. It's a really big shoe tonight. Now you've got it. We've got a spaceship blasting off for you and an in-person visit to the entire Bronx Zoo. And the guy who invented Asiatic food. That's a really, really big one tonight.
Did you hear that? Is that nuts?
What did he say?
Yeah.
He goes, we're going on a spaceship ride. And he goes, then we got the guy that invented the Asiatic flu. That's what he said.
Holy crap, dude.
Isn't that insane? Here's the rest of it. It's pretty short.
That's wild.
Don't you love to hear it say? Here's Ben Hogan. Ben, hit one into the audience. He can take your blues away. That familiar praise has become a craze. Really big show tonight. Yes, sirree. We've got a beauty for you tonight. We got Noah's Ark from the far-off past. We're gonna reproduce an atomic blast. We got World War II with the original cast. It's got a really, really, really big one tonight.
Reproduce an atomic blast in World War II with the original cast. Like he's talking about Ronald Reagan and Henry Ford.
Yeah, it's all, the world is a stage, dude.
Yeah, they had that movie production studio.
And the show must go on. Creepy bastards.
Totally.
Don't you love
Wild.
to hear him say, there's some Mama warriors out there. Hello, fellas. He can take your tonight. We really got a spectacle for you this time. We'll take a TV trip to the moon and stars. First a hop to Venus, then jump to Mars. And next week, Jupiter will be ours. We really get around, don't we? It's a really big show. Shoe, not show. And we're all gonna go. Goose, not go. Well, shoe or show or do or go. You really, really, really got a big one tonight.
So that was nuts.
That's funny.
I
Yeah.
know.
Straight up, man. Next week, Jupiter will be ours.
Right. Oh my
Yeah, right.
Oh, the guy invented the Asiatic flu
Shouldn't
and all
push
that
that whole
stuff.
planet.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Crap, man.
We went through a whole array of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. So, and these, so am I good? Should I full screen this or am I good right here? Is it
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Okie
Yeah. It looks
dokie.
good. Yeah.
So some places that I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with, but that are just nuts. Here's one of them. Machu Picchu is one of the. So you're talking about it's in the Andes mountains of Peru, right in the Andes Mountains, and it's 7,972 feet high. It is, and it's one of the seven. There's this. I guess there's 7 new wonders of the world. So I guess it's 14 total, but this is one of them right here. And everybody knows about the giant megalithic stones that are placed perfectly. And, you know, I've seen a lot of that, but like the terracing on the mountain to me is absolutely amazing. And so here's a little bit of that, how the thing works here. And so you see those things go all more than even some of the mountains overgrown and some of the backside, these massive giant terraces. And this guy starts describing what these things are is like a water filtration system is what it's used to use the whole side of the mountain. So you can grow stuff on it and you could, you know, I mean, to make this happen is just absolutely, it's almost an impossibility. If you said, I'm going to get a crew and I'm going to build this, you know, we're going to, you know, day by day, here's what we're going to do. Here's, you know, I mean, look at that's kind of that diagram there. And then it shows right here, you could see this layer of that, like bricks, then rocks, then like some other rocks, then some other rocks.
You look at the way those are fitting too. Like you can't even use mortar, even if you had mortar or mortar technology or whatever, you can't because it has to, in the end, water has to flow through it. So they have to be tight joints, no mortar.
Dude, great point. Exactly. You couldn't mortar it.
That's what I'm saying. They're even showing you right there, dude. They're dropping the pieces in, no mortar.
Yeah. So this is fascinating. And then I love the waterways and how the stuff works with the water. So we get to here where, so the spring, there's a spring and it's up higher. Where is that? It is it's at like 8,164 feet is a spring on like the east side of the mountain. And so this right here is how it flows. You know, right here it shows where it starts. And this lady shows, so right here, they build little channels like that. And this thing goes, it's a channeling system that it goes, it drops about 70 feet from, and it's a perfect 3% grade that drops down into the Machu Picchu village and fills 17 fountains. And this is the first one right here. So it perfectly runs into these, oh, that's the spring right there. That's where it starts. And so literally that right there is what feeds Machu Picchu. it was like 200,000 liters a day of water will flow constantly through this thing.
Which
And by the
already
time,
doesn't make any sense, because like a spring at ground level doesn't make much sense. But there's so many that start in the highest parts of a mountain like that. It just like the hydrostatic pressure it would take just to get water up to that height is insane.
oh, amazing. Yeah, exactly. And these little concrete things were built all the way along. These are placed all the way along the mountain. I forget how far is it? 68 feet. I thought I wrote down how far it went, but this thing goes all the way from the top of that thing down into the village with those little concrete places. And like you said, Mr. Super, I've had theory that these mountains are actually structures and they're built over springs, because we know they are. All these things are built over springs, all these massive pyramids and things. And, you couldn't just build a pipe straight up, it would fall over. So you got to kind of build like a steps kind of pyramid type of thing to get that water, channel it up, so then you could feed it down. And I actually showed that on Ray's show one night, how I feel about how this is a water world we're in, and everything that's engineered. They said Machu Picchu was built there because of that spring, and it's true, and so that's one of the wells right there, or the fountains. Those fountains have valves. You can shut it off on the inlet and the outlet, and it flows through.
Wow.
Yeah, is that nuts? And there's 17 of them that go all along. I mean,
crazy. And when was this built?
So Machu Picchu. The story is that it was in 1911. This guy named Hiram Bingham in 1911. It took some American white guy to go and go over there, and he heard rumors about it, and he went and climbed up there. But as far as I think they're saying like 10,000 years ago or something like that people first inhabited. But there's also a story that when the Spanish came, they ran up to the hills and built that thing real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Right.
Do an engineering masterpiece, and we'll just do it real quick.
There's just no way. I mean, like, just
there
one
is
of
no
these
real
things.
quick with that deal.
No, there's no way. At that height, you're getting stuff up there. Like, yeah, donkeys were just, I mean, just your timeline would be to 100,000 years it'd take to build the.
Yeah, dude, one block at a time.
No doubt.
Thing. That's how silly the whole thing is. Yeah, it's really crazy. So that's Machu Picchu, and tons of that stuff. People could look that up, and you can get lost in that for years. There's tons of that. Now,
such things like you just look at like larger beings; those would be like Lego blocks, and you wouldn't have like
right. Now you're talking
up
about
the mountain. They would just lift the block up the mountain. I mean, it'd be a done deal,
I mean, even if everybody was 8-9 foot tall, that would be all the difference in the world. That you could maybe do something. And there's a whole other show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
And so now, okay, this right here is Baalbek, Lebanon. And this one, they say history started here about 11,000 years ago. And they say Alexander the Great had conquered this in 334 BCE and renamed it Heliopolis, which is not the Heliopolis in Egypt. I think I don't know if it's well known, but there's one in Egypt too at that time, meaning Sun City. And it has 3 temples, one to Venus and one to Mercury. And the one you're looking at is the one to Jupiter. And so those blocks there that are outlined, they're 3 blocks. That's the foundation. And they call it the Trilithon, it's called. And that's the foundation. Let's see. And they are about 63 feet long and about 19 feet wide. They weigh, dude, 800 tons each. And they fit so perfectly, you can't even get a credit card in between them. They were set so perfectly. And so, when I play it along here, there's 3 other stones that they're going to show that are in the quarry that's nearby. See, look at that thing, man. It's just like perfect.
Wow.
800-ton stones were moved to that. It shows how
perfectly and not broken and
yeah.
more.
Sure. And then, so now here you're looking at, there's 3 other stones that are, that one is 1,000 tons. That stone. So, and there's 2 other ones there. And let's see, they're called, let me see here. 3 other stones. So the quarry. Okay. One of those stones is called the Pregnant Woman. The other one's called the Stone of the South. And the other one's called the Forgotten Stone. They weigh 1,000 tons each, and they're known to be the largest stones ever moved by humans. And they're saying they had a little graphic where it showed 18 of those big cranes that would take 18 of them together to move one of those things by horsepower, you know? And so look at these things, and the names are amazing. Look at this guy, how small he is on top of there.
Yeah.
And look at this. It's just it's a perfect square. I mean, isn't it just a trip? Look at the flag of Lebanon there with the Lebanese cedar on the flag.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way.
Right.
You get tangled up in thinking about one of them, and they're talking about like how many did they move, dude?
Yeah, one of them. You know, one day. Think about the day. We're moving this today. Really?
And not only that, but like you mentioned, 18 cranes to lift it. If you were trying to move it anywhere, all 18 would have to work together, move it a little bit, set it down, reposition the cranes, and do it again. Like you'd have to walk it. You couldn't just, because you could lift it with 18 cranes, it doesn't mean you're going to like drive it around with 18 cranes.
That's what I was thinking, Mr. Super, is that you couldn't use 18. They wouldn't, you know, they'd have to, it wouldn't work.
You could lift it, but you're not going to carry it away and set it someplace.
Right.
You know,
right. Because the cranes aren't on wheels.
Move it a few feet and then reposition everything and start over, dude.
And how would you rig it?
Yeah, exactly. Right. It all has to be ropes around because they aren't, like, there's no lifting points on them.
Right. Rebecca said they can barely lift their new lawnmower.
He's got a point.
And so, and then let's see the columns here. I thought I wrote down about these columns are also the biggest thing ever. Let's see if I got this one. I had the and then let's see. I thought I had about the columns. Oh yeah, I had the stats on these bad boys, and they're absolutely massive. And they're okay. So these are 75 feet long, and they are like 7 feet around, and there's 6 of them, and they're just known as the 6 biggest, baddest Corinthian columns, ever. And they're there at Baalbek too. And so there's it's just unbelievable. And that's what it used to look like back then. Back in the day.
I was about to say, did it used to be attached to something? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then there's this ornate, delicate, artistry all everywhere too. Besides the massive, just, it's just it's too much. There's just too much to even comprehend.
I mean, yeah, along the top there, that was just crazy. And like with the tools, I don't know what kind of tools they had back then, but I can't imagine them having, the greatest tools to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, were you chiseling everything, I mean, just like
zero power tools, all hand tools. Right. Come on, man.
No, not one diesel engine. There was a technology, maybe it was different, but it was more advanced than the junk we got now. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, there's just no way. And the buildings we build are just, I build boxes, dude. I almost don't even like doing it, because they're so such junk, Yeah, I know. And then, have you guys ever heard of Mount Kailash?
I have not. I've heard of everything you talked about so far, but not that. Nope.
Okay, so this guy right here is, let's see. I got my little paper on this guy. So this is a trip, and it's not much to look at. It's more kind of like, whoa, it's trippy. It's right here on the border of Tibet, and that's the border of India right here on the left. And then there's Tibet with China. So it's basically on the border of China and India. And it's almost like a giant pyramid. It's a 4-sided mountain and it's like 2,000 meters. Let's see here. It's 2,000 meters shorter than Mount Everest, and yet no one has ever climbed it. That right there, what it showed that graphic was that these four religions claim it as their holy place. Like inside is supposed to be a place called Shambhala is supposed to be inside of it. And like Lord Shiva is supposed to be live there inside of it. And
Wow.
so yeah.
Did you get a height for that? Because like Everest, isn't that like 15,000 feet or something?
Right. Let me see here. I had all this written down here. It's the largest.
I didn't want to put you on the spot, but if you
No,
had
no,
the
no.
numbers, I'd be interested. You know?
Yeah. So let me see. Let me get up to this little where it shows the four religions real quick. Yeah, they say there's the number 4 has a lot to do with it. So you've got right here. The Bon is the one with the little swastika there on the right, and then Buddhist and Hindu, and the other one is called Jain. I think the hand one is called Jain. So those 4 religions say no, that's our spot. Okay. Let's see here. So this thing is it's never been climbed by anyone except for one guy, and his name was Milarepa, and it was in the year 1093. And he climbed it on a ray of sunshine. So essentially, no one's climbed. I guess he had a contest with one of these other religions. Like he was a Buddhist, and he had a contest to see who could get to the top of Mount Kailash. And so he's supposedly the only guy that's ever traversed it. So what happens is people try to climb it, and as they're climbing it, they get old. The higher they get, the older they get.
Oh wow, dude!
Yeah, that's what they said. They said one group disappeared completely. One guy was climbing it, and as he started getting up there, he started getting sick and more sick and feeling bad. And as he turned around and went down it, he started feeling better. China tried to fly a helicopter to the top, and the wind just blew them out of the way. There's 2 lakes at the bottom of it, and one is a saltwater lake and one's a freshwater lake. And the saltwater lake is always windy and choppy, and the freshwater lake is always calm. There's way too much that they say that, and I'll show. Oh, okay. So let me see if I can find the height, like you're saying here, and I'll stop babbling and show you guys. Okay. Right. Oh man, this is God, I thought I had that written down. You know what? I think it tells it in the graphic here, so I'll play it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll play it, and then I can comment on what those are 4 rivers.
Interesting, like the contrast and the duality and all of that you're mentioning. That's crazy.
Those 4 rivers leave that go from the mountain out, and it's known as the supposed to be the center of our realm, the exact navel.
I was just going to say with the 4 rivers and all. Yeah, dude.
That's what it's known as. The 4 sides are different colors. It'll show them here. One's lapis lazuli. One side is this is just saying how it's basically a pyramid here. Look at the south face. It shows oh man, I kind of that's showing the different colors of each side. And there's not a whole bunch of stuff to look at. It's more like what is going on in this place, man. And let's see here. Let's see. In what year was it? Old Mean Mr. Mustache sent a group of people out here to investigate because he thinks that the Aryan race originated from inside this mountain. Okay, so here's what's trippy right here. On one side of the mountain, when it snows, that swastika shows up on there, and they'll it's not a complete one, but this is one side of the mountain here, and then it's going to show on another side of the mountain what happens when it snows, so that you guys can see that, right?
Yeah.
So that thing appears, and things get weirder. So
Imagine that.
So, and it's called Mount Kailash. I met a guy yesterday who'd been there, an Indian guy at 7-Eleven. So now that's Shiva. If you can see right in there, there's like 2 eyes, the nose, and the mouth.
Oh yeah.
That's Shiva's face on there. And who knows if any of this is real or, but I've seen a bunch of videos like this. So that's one
It does
side.
look like the Shiva. Yeah.
Don't it, dude?
It certainly does.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I did a quick Google search, and it says the elevation is 21,778 feet. So yeah, about
Wow.
3,000
Okay.
feet short of yeah.
How much shorter than Everest?
I don't know. I think he said Everest was like 25,000 or so.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
Yeah.
So about 3,000.
Yeah. And a bunch of people been on top of there, but no one had been on top of this one. And then
Yeah,
so you
right.
got
And
Shiva
it was
on
what
this
was
side of the
weird is I
mountain.
noticed
And then right there,
on the map, it looks like that mountain is just like in the middle of nowhere. There's no other mountains around it. Like why
Right.
was that? You know what I mean? It looked pretty flat all around it. Like that says to me like that's some
Mhm.
sort of man-made something. Yeah.
Right. Right. And people go there just to touch it, just to touch the mountain.
I bet.
Huh.
Yeah, I asked the guy at 7-Eleven yesterday, "You been to Mount Kailash?" "Oh, I've been there. I was like, "Whoa, dude, cool."
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of energy device or
Mhm.
something in the middle of it that, by touching it, can
Right.
give you the vibrations or, something that, you know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, big time.
That's all just
And that's
speculation.
yeah, yeah. So those are the 2 lakes there. I can't really see it on mine very well, but one of them's a freshwater lake. And yeah, that's the freshwater one. It's calm, it's cool, there's no problem with it. And then the saltwater lake is just always choppy and windy. And they have explanation. One channel totally is like the guy debunked all this, and he says, "Oh, it's just windy on that side. Oh, you just can't get up there because of the weather and stuff like that." But in relation to that, this is the place that I really wanted to get into was this temple, which is hundreds of miles away. That's kind of on the border of China, and this is kind of in like the southern part of India. And this is called oh man, what's the name of this bad boy here? Yeah, that one's supposed to have this. Where did I put my notes on this guy? Oh man, I can't put my notes on this guy. So rubbish. Oh yeah, and also it's called Stairway to Heaven too. They call that Mount Kailash. They call it the Stairway to Heaven. But so this is a temple. This is the single largest one, this is just purely carved out of rock, this entire place here. And it is called, where the heck did I put that thing? Oh, Kailasha. Yeah, it's called yeah, god dang it. I thought I had all my stuff right here. But this is a tribute to Mount Kailash, and it's the single largest, just single carved out place that there is. And I got stats for this. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is called, this is the Ellora. It's called the Ellora Caves, is what we got here, and it's a 3-story temple to Shiva. It's the Kailasa temple. It's called. It's the largest monolithic temple, and it's a symbol to Mount Kailash, where Lord Shiva lives. They say this thing took 18 years to build, chiseled by hand, 400,000 tons of rock. That's 60 tons a day to get this thing built. Okay. And they say that there's a cave system inside that leads to a super cave that has ancient high-tech stuff in it to be used. And like there's Sanskrit texts that tell of a way that you can turn rock into air, and you can find it in this cave that's deep inside this thing here. So, I mean, there you go, man. 60 tons a day.
Yeah. And can you actually go inside this cave and look around?
Yeah. Yeah, probably not that deep though. They don't let you far into. I've been to a bunch where they stop and they've covered them a lot and done a lot of stuff like that where they don't, they don't let you see the good stuff.
They gotta keep their secrets. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're like saying, like, what if you messed up when you were carving one thing? Nothing is imperfect in this thing. Every carving is perfect. There's 100-foot tall kind of obelisk in the middle of it. So you had to carve that. You go, okay, in the middle, and you're standing on top of this thing as a mountain, imagine. And like, we're going to carve this down into a temple 3 stories down. I mean, it's a virtual impossibility to pull this off here. There's just no way. 18 years they did this. So
yeah, no, I couldn't do it with a 5 foot by 5 foot block
that's what I'm saying.
Of stone.
And look at perfect. All them pillars are perfect. Look at the statues everywhere. Like, it's breathtaking, man. It's just, this is where I got my passion looking at this stuff, going, what is going on? There's just no way. I build stuff and it's junk now.
Yeah, I can only imagine getting like a month away from completing the construction, and some guy goes to work, all hungover from being drunk the night before and not paying attention, and messes up one of the columns. And they're like, "Oh crap, we got to start over. Go find another mountain."
Oh man,
more wine for you.
Yeah, the official narratives are impossible. Exactly, Rebecca.
Did you come up with a plan for something like this, and you end up fashioning one block, and you go, "We need a different building material."
Yeah, and that's another thing. Is there drawings? We got drawings to do our stuff. Is there a plan for this? They know exactly what they're going to do before. Then you got like all these holes and stuff line up with equinoxes and stuff in these places. So it's not just that. And this also has a water
alignment. Yeah. And like you said, man, having one blueprint for this whole job is impossible. Having the tools to do the measurements is impossible. Having the tools to do the surveying is impossible. Everything.
Having the amount of skilled labor that it would take. Yeah.
I know. Like, 1,000 guys, 60-hour weeks. Look at that thing's 100-foot tall. 100.
You're trying to back figure it out. How many sandwiches is this going to take?
I need a lunch break, man. And what do you get paid money, or what do you? Like,
what happens to your family while you're up here chiseling rocks, dude?
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's just so much we don't know. It's just insane. And so then we'll get into my favorite place of all is coming up here. Let's see. I'll just let this run. And I have so I grew up in Northern California, and they call it the 8th century temple. But I grew up in Northern California, and we had bottled water. Then it was called Alhambra, and it's from this place Alhambra up in Northern California, up above, kind of above the Bay Area. It's from the Alhambra Springs. And so, and there's a jingle. I got the commercial. It's kind of funny, man. Brought me back to being a kid. But it's I had seen, I've always known that my whole life. And then about last year, in my feed comes a thing about Alhambra there in Spain. So we'll get to that now. And I'm putting 2 and 2 together. Alhambra, California, it has all these massive springs, and then you've got the Alhambra Palace. Obviously that was named after that. It's just funny when things kind of come together in your head, and just everything's related.
Look at that thing.
Look, I mean, dude, look at this. Little steps over here to the right. I always think about one part of it. Okay, this is what we're doing today. What's it going to take? How many tools? How many guys?
You're right.
Is it a week for this just that little thing on the left there? Is it going to take a week to do that? 18 years.
They knock those statues out before lunch.
Yeah. And it's always the size.
So I'm seeing 18 years in the chat. You're saying that they're claiming this was built in 18 years?
Yeah. Yep. That's what they're saying. It was
Wow.
18 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, you're talking 60 tons of rock per day. If it was 18 years, imagine that being a whole mountain.
Dude,
that's what they'd
and
have to chisel out.
it's never just the functionality either, dude. It's always ornate and like balanced design and this particular number of columns and all. Like it had to be blueprints. You know what I mean? You got to have a plan. That stuff doesn't just happen.
There's no way. Like it's just like, and yeah, that's what I was. You got this massive thing to do, and then these delicate little features on all of it, and just like, yeah, it's overwhelming. You're like, I don't have the skills to do any of that stuff. There's just, it's crazy. So,
yeah,
so that's that place there. Let me turn the light on real quick. Dark on real quick. And so now, my favorite place is not as big as these other places, but me being kind of a plumbing geek that I am, and really a hydronics is my thing I got into, which is radiant heat, using hot water indirect fired tanks, and basically I make hot water, heat up floors and things and radiators and all that stuff. That's kind of like what I done for most of my career, and the place is called Alhambra. But this is kind of a fun little thing here. Like I said, I grew up, in the 80s in Northern California, and everybody knew this right here. I hope it's got some sound to it.
It's 110 in the broiling sun, but me and Alhambra are making our run for Fudgy, Shorty, Slim, Freckles, and Sue. They're mom upsets it. Take a look at all those beautiful faces. You see those teeth? See those braces? I get so mad when they grab that soda pop. What's a mother to do? Not only am I your Alhambra man, I got a wife and kids, and I guess I am an expert when it comes to family thirst. They all said, Alhambra's taste is fresh and clean. It's got no sugar, and I guess that means that no more guilty conscience about those teeth. Ain't that a relief? You give them Alhambra. It's the best you can do for safety too. The very next time that I came by, I got great big smiles and a high. Me and Alhambra water making friends. Yes, me and Alhambra water making friends. Alhambra brings good tasting water to a thirsty world.
And this is the commercial that you seen growing up?
This is
like,
when I grew up in our area. So me and Alhambra water making friends. Everybody knew that. Do you see how he said a manly thirst too? I thought that was kind of funny. You can't say that no more.
Yeah, right.
So I've always known that.
Canceled.
And we say Alhambra. And like I said, then a year ago, it comes in my feed, this place here.
Just randomly came in your feed?
Yeah, my feed is absolutely the best. The stuff that comes in, you could do a show every single day about, I don't know why. And a lot of it's normie stuff, but like a lot of these normie things like National Geographic, they got the best cameras and the most money. And so they get to, they can get to these places and look at them. So, and I get sidetracked every day with just someplace and the narrative behind it and stuff like that. And, this one right here, just, I was just like bounce off the walls. I'm like, I have to go to this place, man. So this is, Granada, Spain. And we'll take a look at the temple of Alhambra. If it buffers. Oh yeah. So that was the wiki on Alhambra.
All right, that's what I took a peek at.
Yeah. So that's, I've never been there, but it's all gravelled up. It's everything's BS, man. But yeah, I got tons of springs around here. Okay, so here, let me back that up real quick, and then we could listen to a little bit of what they say happened here in the 12th century when the Muslims built this place. Let's go. And no.
It's a cold, rainy night in the walled city of Cordoba, medieval Spain. Watchmen guard the city, unaware that an entire army of Christian soldiers are about to launch a surprise attack. In a single night, they conquer the entire city, bringing the Muslim rule to an end. All over the land, Muslim cities were being conquered and taken over by the Christians. But amidst all of this, one city remained unconquered.
Wow, that's incredible. Did you mute it, or did just the sound just go out?
Mind-blowing network of medieval pipes and channels
There it
that
goes.
carry
It's back.
water, vibrant gardens, thermal baths, and elegant fountains. The engineering required to pull this off was astonishing, and it gave the palace things like underfloor heating and fountains that could tell the time. This incredible system also kept the palace cool and brought life to the surrounding nature for hundreds of years. We modeled the entire thing to show you how it all worked and the locked mechanisms that once allowed the water to defy gravity and travel uphill. When the ruler of Granada commissioned the palace, the engineers had one major problem. Just outside the palace, it was a huge courtyard, but this was only the beginning.
Oh, the volume did?
The designers of the palace had big
Let me see.
ideas.
Yeah.
Elegant fountains shooting out jets of water, bathing rooms with showers and underfloor heating, and clocks that were powered by water. All of this
I can't even pause it now.
water pressure than the Royal Canal provided. And so to get around this, the engineers started digging out a large pool in an area much higher than the palace. Below this, the water from the Royal Canal would flow into an underground pipe and collect in a well 60 meters below the pool. At the top of the well, the engineers installed a water wheel equipped with buckets that could be turned by an animal. This would raise the water up to the
Look at him
surface
fall off the
and
cliff.
fill the storage pool with around 400.
Yeah, it's funny.
Having this water stored above the palace pressurized the entire system, and at the same time gave the palace a backup supply of water in times of drought. From here, the water passed over an aqueduct and into water to show what time of day it was. In a controlled sequence, the lions would activate hour by hour until all of them were spouting out water by midday. The system would then reset itself and the process would start again. But how was this possible with medieval technology? Inside the fountain was an early version of the Opera web browser, generation of browsing, in order that it would take exactly 1 hour to reach the next hole. After 12 hours, the bowl would be full of water, and a clever siphon inside the bowl would reset the system naturally. As the water inside the bowl started to rise, so did the water in the siphon. Once it reached the top of the siphon, it would curve and start falling down the drainage pipe. At this point, a seal was created and no air could get in to replace the falling water. This activated the siphon, and the surface tension of the falling water would pull the rest of the water with it. In a matter of seconds, the bowl would drain completely and the process would start again. The water from the lions would exit via 4 shallow channels in the ground and continue on throughout the palace, eventually reaching another engineering marvel, the thermal baths. This is where the kings and diplomats would come to relax and make deals. It featured a cold plunge pool, a hot room with heated flooring, and a steam room. The water would enter a control room underground and pass through a copper boiler that was heated by burning wood. From here, the water would flow through pipes to various fountains and showers around the baths. To provide underfloor heating in the hot room, the steam from the boiler was directed through channels underneath the marble floor. From there, the steam would travel up through pillars in the steam room and exit through small vents, filling the room with water vapor. The roof had a series of star-shaped windows that could be opened and closed to control the level of steam. As the water continued on through the Alhambra's network of fountains, channels, and pools, it had another benefit: cooling. Granada is an extremely hot part of Spain, but as the warm air blew over the pools and fountains, the water would evaporate, cooling the air surrounding the palace and making it a very
Yeah, I wonder how long that took. This place took to make.
So the water had to make a final 6-meter climb to reach it.
Yeah, all of a sudden I can't pause it. I'm trying to pause it, but I can't.
But for this section, they came up with something much
It's almost done now.
impressive. This was a special device that didn't require water wheels, animals, or any external power. Here's how it worked. Water from the system would flow into a container with a hole in the bottom, leading down to another container below. As the water traveled down through the pipe, a whirlpool would form in the top container. At the center of the whirlpool, a low pressure area would form, sucking air downwards and into the container below. Here, the air and water would mix, and this gassy water would be forced into a thin pipe. The potential energy in both pipes was the same, meaning under normal circumstances, the water pushing down in this pipe would push the water.
That makes sense. Like the sound keeps cutting out.
Is it?
Water
Maybe
6
it's just-
meters higher than when
There it goes. Yeah.
Shoot.
To the rest of the
Yeah, I got
palace.
no idea why.
Today, many of the clever water systems around the palace still work, and it's
Yeah, I think we
all
get the idea though. That's
engineers.
Yeah, I think. Can you see the subtitles there? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
right there, that's a thing I put in. You know, like, and this is called snow melt right here. So you can see how they had the piping systems in there, you know, that were feeding all that place. This is the plastic junk that we put in now. That's to melt snow on a driveway. They're gonna pour a driveway over that plastic pipe that we put down
Absolutely.
to do. So, you know, and then it took that whole mechanical room to, you know, all this stuff. God dang, I can't pause it. It's really killing me. Wonder why I could pause and do everything before. Now I don't have no control over it. But yeah, that's let's see. That's up by up in the mountains. Some rich guy's house. And so I'll just stop sharing here because I can't.
Really awesome, man. That's a lot of pipe.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of pipe, but
I imagine it doesn't, like, that system doesn't circulate all those pipes at the same time. It's probably set up like a zone system, like it runs a loop or a, whatever for a while and runs to the next loop.
Exactly. Where it was going into that place, that's one manifold, and so the supply and returns for that area will be right in there, so you could throttle them down and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then at the boiler, they have zone valves that are controlled, by relays, all that stuff. And that goes ahead and controls all that. And it takes a whole bunch of equipment and stuff that we got to put in, Meanwhile, back in the 1200s, you had a copper boiler, and the engineering was just so absolutely amazing that they could figure out, because all that stuff they showed there, that's the pipe sizes have to be perfect.
Oh yeah.
The temperatures have to be perfect. That thing, they designed it to also cool open air, so it cools off. That's they call it load calculations. You got to take to figure out how much water is going to evaporate, how much heat loss everything has, it's that's what I geek out on, that type of stuff, man. That's
when you do loops like that underneath the driveway like that, do you have to put a bunch of sensors in too, so you get feedback on what the different locations are actually doing?
Man, you know what you're talking about, buddy. Yep, there's a flat temperature sensor. Like, we'll run one extra conduit right next to it in a certain area where the sun's going to hit it, and so you put it flush with the concrete, and they pour it over there, and that thing will actually, it's a thermostat, because all a thermostat is a switch, So that's just a switch, and it'll kick on for the snow melt. So, and actually what it is when it kicks on when it gets covered with snow. So when it's covered and there is no, that's what activates it to go. Yeah. So it'll know, okay, I'm covered, I better kick on the snow melt first.
That's cool,
and then inside the house, you can have flush mounted things in the wall or just thermostats in different rooms, and then you could zone out your radiant in the house.
Oh yeah, right.
That way,
Yeah. have to be right in the slab. I mean, you get faster feedback from a sensor in the slab, but you would get it eventually in anywhere in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you don't want it to overshoot. So you want it to, a lot of times you'll put an extra one outside on an eave in the shade. And so it'll prevent it from, as the sun's coming up, and what Radiant does is it's not real quick. Obviously it takes time.
Right. Exactly.
So as you're heating up, they'll have an outdoor sensor that once the first little bit of sun hits that sensor, it'll actually shut it off. And that'll be at like 10 in the morning. So you don't overshoot by noon and have your house too hot. So a lot of controls go with that, with the hydronic heating. Yeah. And I love it, man. I'm passionate about.
Yeah, you're speaking Greek to me, like radiance and this. And, yeah, like I'm just like, okay, if you say so, I trust you.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Mr. Super knows about a lot of low voltage controls and stuff like that. You know, whenever I talk about something, he knows about it.
Yeah. So what I was curious about, did you understand on the about in the castle, he had mentioned that everything, you know, like there's precise amount of water and it was a controlled flow and stuff. Like, do you have any idea how they manage that to have it like such a perfect controlled flow into like say the clock, the Lion Fountain, or anything else that like how do you control water pressure on just gravity or the water just coming down the mountain naturally? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's where you come into pipe sizes, and because you have pressure and you have volume when you're talking water, and so those are the two things you're dealing with. Like now, I'd put a pump in and have it throttled down or do the exact amount of pressure that it needs. But in that situation,
right,
they had to take it and design it so absolutely perfectly with the pipe sizes and the amount of pressure that would be going through to activate little floats, as opposed to I would have like a electronic and they'd be controlled by something, and it'd say, okay, now at this time open this valve and let it through. Well, they didn't.
Oh, you're cutting in and out.
So it would have to be the exact pipe size, and it almost like the way a toilet float works, or a swamp cooler, the way that works. It would have to, like the amount of pressure and the amount of time it would take for water to go through a certain size pipe and a certain distance, then it would activate like a float and like open a valve and let it through. So that's how, that's how it would have to be done. They say how they rerouted the water up higher, and then they even have a tank up high. So that provides the pressure, and then the pipe size will go ahead and throttle down the water. Like the Lion thing is the most fascinating thing of all, because the way the holes in the bowl are at perfect height, and like you said, the pipe size, so you control, so you have the exact amount of water to actually tell time.
Right.
It's beyond comprehension, man. They had to do it so perfectly. Basically pipe size,
And the incoming flow has to be so precise. Like it wouldn't be hard if the incoming flow was absolutely perfect. Like you could just mark out where it is every hour with a reference tool, right?
Yeah.
But having that always fill at that rate, that's the trick, dude.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, right. Because it didn't look like they were using pipes it looked like they were using just more like a channel they dug out. And so that was like if it was a pipe or it was enclosed and you could control the pressure, it would make sense. Right. But that's what I was wondering, is how they controlled the pressure with just a channel. Because if there's more water coming in, it'll just overflow outside of the channel. It'll still, but yeah.
Or it would
I guess when they
the clock
having the pools.
Mm-hmm. And there's some stuff they're not telling us in that video, because there has to be a spring in that place, providing some kind of water to it. It can't just be all routed to that thing with that donkey, So I'd say that there's also a spring in there too, providing water. And then as far as like, it shows the one where the pipe that has a thin pipe that goes out to the left and comes up and has kind of air going through it as well. And so that was a pipe. And so was that just drilled through rock? Is it perfectly drilled? And how would you do that? Or is it copper, which has been around forever? And how was that made? So they're not explaining, what the piping system is or what it's made out
Right.
of.
Just
There's
like
a whole
everything,
bunch.
man, when you get close enough to it, they start showing you cartoons.
Yeah, it's like, right? You know what I mean?
Everything comes down to a cartoon in the end, dude.
And they just gloss over stuff real quick, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing that's, for me, is try to find out what's the truth. How was it done? And I can go out and get my hands on the stuff. And that's what I really enjoy about it. Boots on the ground and trying to find old things. And I follow the water. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can learn a lot about water and just its properties of, itself, and makes you wonder, what the science is that they're telling us that water doesn't always fit in with the science, but people just believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because when I was learning and talking to Splatter about the flat Earth, his favorite thing to say is spinning water ball.
Yeah.
which makes no sense at all.
Right.
So
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Iron. We have an iron core supposedly, but it's molten, and molten iron is not magnetic at all. It doesn't, you know what I mean? So it wouldn't be like magnetic pole and stuff like that. There's so many things to poke holes in it. But yeah, I have.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not magnetic.
That's where they say that the magnetic energy from the Earth is coming from the core.
Right.
But
Right.
but if it's
it's
molten,
called the curing point. When you get metals hot enough, they lose their magnetic property, so it makes no sense. Plus, your compass would point down toward the middle of the Earth.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then as far as
just wait for the cartoon.
Yeah, just wait for the cartoon. Exactly, man. Exactly. Yep. And that's what we're talking about what gravity is, or is not, and how we're held down. That's one that, to me, when I meditate on it, man, and I'm sleeping at night and I think of things kind of come to me. And it's just like, if you could imagine just trillions, like first of all, we're enclosed, we're enclosed, and because there's pressure, barometric pressure, there's pressure, and you cannot have pressure without a container. Right. So that's step one. And then step two is, if you could think of get into the ether now think about the ether, which, Einstein's first, he said there was an ether, and then he said there wasn't once you got graveled up and stuff like that.
Yep.
But in my imagination, it's trillions and trillions and trillions of tiny little bubbles, and we're packed in this place with the ether, and it's stuffed with a trillion and trillions and trillions of little bubbles. And if you're lighter than the bubbles, you can ride on top of them. But if you're heavier than them, then you fall through them. If you're a feather, the bubbles will come under you and kind of lift you up. And when you're, if you're heavier than it, you're going to go ahead and just kind of fall through it. And I think it's, simple as that, we're in this etheric, we're swimming in it. You could feel it when you put your hand back and forth. That's the ether.
That's real, dude. Air in there. There's air in there. Ether.
There's air in there, man. Empty, like there's no empty pipes. Pipes aren't empty. They have air in them. It's like, and it's just.
So you guys know what those little plasma lamps are, like the little globe, and you put your hand next to it, and the little lightning bolts are attracted to your hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
If the charges were the opposite way, the charge on the outside would be looking to go toward the middle. So those are wired the opposite of what this realm is, right? We know that the electrical voltage goes up 100 volts per meter as you go up higher and higher. So the firmament, as it were, would be supercharged, but the opposite of those plasma globes. So that's why we get lightning trying to strike down. And there's a downward vector between two Gaussian plates. So a scientist took two metal plates and hooked them to a Tesla coil and put just loose pieces of paper on the bottom plate. And he energized this thing, and really nothing happened. And then he flipped the polarity and all the paper jumped to the top, dude. So I think it's a downward
Oh,
of electrical energy as a result of the toroidal field or torus field that we're in that causes what we consider to be the downward vector that keeps us in place.
whoa.
It's not like debunking gravity is like saying things don't fall down, right? It's the word gravity that we're opposed to because they've hijacked it. Originally, gravity meant gravitas or weight. But the weight is
Ah,
due to gravity, the weight is due to the downward flow of electricity.
oh, nice, dude. So now I gotta think about. Now I'm gonna let that sink in for a little bit, and think about that little ball with the little electricity that goes to your finger, and
Mm-hmm.
that's reversed.
Well, yeah, you're looking at what we call sprites. When that reverses in some places, like they say, the poles of the Earth will change, or may have in the past as well, or whatever. That so sprites are lightning that strikes in the opposite direction from the ground up. Right.
Right.
So sometimes we do get that plasma ball effect, and we get trees burning from the inside, and fires that follow like a low
Oh,
terrain, like a river, dude. So if you want to watch some
whoa.
of that, go to Jeff Snyder too, and you'll see all the evidence of like that is happening in lots of
Which one?
places. Jeff Snyder too.
Jeff Snyder too. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. That's sick, dude.
He's the leading one bringing forth the truth about the plasma fires. All these trees burning from the inside out. Lahaina, Paradise, all the cars without melted engine blocks, all the glass is gone. They look rusted and old because they've been through electrolysis. The mag wheels that melt at 2,500 degrees have run and pulled down the roads. This
Oh,
is
so
not
that's
normal.
coming
This is not
under.
normal fire. This is all plasma fire.
It's coming up from down to up.
That's correct.
Whoa, dude, man.
Is that like what
that is-
happened in the Hawaii fires?
Yeah, Lahaina. That's why I said
couple years ago?
Lahaina, Paradise.
Okay,
All
yeah.
those places where like the concrete burns and exposes the rebar. And Joe knows like how tough the concrete they use for like foundations and stuff. It's designed to be the super tough concrete.
Mm.
It burns that stuff away to ash, and you see all the rebar that was in the concrete, dude. The amount of heat it
Whoa.
takes to do that. Like when a house gets burnt down normally by
Right.
just fire, right? The chimney will be standing, all the metal appliances will still be there. Part of the structure will still usually stand after the fire has extinguished, those sorts of things. Dude, you look at Paradise, those homes were turned to ash. The toilet bowls, vitreous china is melted.
Gone.
No appliances. The steel appliances, washers and dryers and dishwashers and refrigerators and stoves are gone, dude. Liquefied.
Dude, my uncle's house in Oregon. Remember Oregon a couple years ago? I have
Right.
pictures from my uncle's phone, and there's nothing there. His house is powder, not a refrigerator,
Powder, white powder.
but the trees are there.
I know the trees are fine, dude.
Oh man, that is just man. Now
But
I'm
a
off
lot
on
of them,
another.
like the trees will burn from the inside out, and they're dead as shit. But they'll still stand for another year or something. Like sometimes they get completely cored
Oh,
out, but they still look like they're alive. But they don't
man.
they don't generally make it for long either.
Wow. I swear my mind is just blown all the time, man. I'm just like, that's a whole other thing to look at. I'm like, what was that guy again? Jeff Snyder too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, Mr. Super, have you ever seen APV Angel? That guy?
FPV Angel. Yeah.
I mean, APV. Yeah, FPV Angel.
Everybody
Yeah.
gets that wrong. PVA, FPA. I've heard everything.
Maybe it's a Mandela.
Yeah, it is.
FPV Angel. Yeah, he's got some pretty wild theories.
Yeah. Yeah, I like some of that stuff, man. That's what
He's convinced that rainbows happen in the same place all the time. So he's trying to document where rainbows are found and like placing the centers and putting them on a map and trying to trace back.
Yeah.
He says they're all held by angels and underground activity. And
yeah, it's wild, man. It's and I take pictures of rainbows and around here to see, and they show up in the same places. You know, and that could be moisture and that could be different things. But yeah, he says they're circles, you know, and they're by those angels, yeah, the accelerators and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, full circles, stuff like that. And that's you know, I keep going back to it and looking at it, you know. It's just so
Yeah, I
amazing.
can't quit looking at it. Like I can't buy the whole thing as a package. It's too much to just swallow at once. But you watch it enough to analyze it, like you said, you got to take it all into consideration. Man.
Yeah, it's been years since because I think Crow probably turned me on to him first years ago, Crow 777. And so that's what he was subbed to Dave Sovereign Soul, and then Sav played some Arwan stuff, and he unsubbed him. He told me, yeah. and then Sav's son came on and started telling stuff that is from him, from AVP Angel. And Sav's like, "You're crazy, shut up, that's stupid." And there was stuff, and he had like the sun going down under and coming back up.
Yeah. I heard that. Yeah.
The
guy thought the sun actually touched the ground like 10 miles from his house. I'm like, 10 miles, just drive over there and figure out that that's wrong before you put that on the internet, dude.
Yeah, really. Yeah, get all drunk and put stuff.
No good. All right.
Speaking of Mandela too, that's they're doing commercials now, new ones. And my son was telling me, he's like, they'll change them. They'll make like 2 or 3 different commercials where like something different happens in them. Like one with LeBron James, and he throws something and this lady chokes on this thing. But then they showed it later and she ate the thing, didn't choke on it. Like, it was kind of funny. They're doing it, man. They're doing it. It's accelerated.
Yeah, they want us to think that we're all messed up. It's not us that's messed up.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming right out and, kind of, almost like trolling people, like the Skechers. Like, there's never been a T in Skechers, and or the Fruit of the Loom doing that, stuff like that. And like some of them are just getting real blatant with them.
Yeah.
So,
I kind of enjoy it.
They rubbed it in our face too. If you remember, they did that little like the fake video for the missing movie, the Sinbad movie. Shazam.
Oh, right, yeah, Shazam.
Oh, yeah.
And it was
right, yeah,
loaded
I don't
with
like Sinbad
Mandela
anymore.
effects, dude. There was so many Mandela effects they jammed into that video. It's like them just mocking, just shoving it down people's throats, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's, kids like my son's age and stuff. Yeah, they're like, yeah, we watched it.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
I was aware
I know
that
people
I
that clearly
watching it, but I remember it coming out, dude. And you're not going to tell me my memory is bad. Why would I dream up a movie that never existed?
Right.
Stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah, my big one was an Elvis song that for his first like single that got him big was called Evil. I'm evil. My middle name is Misery. Well, in that song, he says, and my dad had all the Elvis albums. In that song, he goes, I was born standing up and talking back, and my father was a green-eyed crackerjack. And that, if you're from like Oklahoma and stuff, green-eyed crackerjack is like a badass white guy, And so I played it the other day, and he goes, my father was a green-eyed mountain jack. What the hell is a mountain jack? Anybody ever heard that term ever?
Never. Wow, dude.
I heard it the other day when I was watching one of your shows, Joe. I heard you talking about this, and yeah, I'd never heard of mountain jack. Yeah, that's funny.
Because everybody has a personal one,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a personal one where like I took a picture actually of something and then went back a couple years later to look at the picture, and because like it was a street sign and it was how they had a little sign next to speed bumps in neighborhoods or whatever warning you that there's a speed bump coming up. But there was this one I drive by all the time and it said speed hump. And I just always thought it was funny because 99% of the signs say speed bump.
I remember.
So I took a picture of it and was going to post it on Facebook and be like, because it was just funny. And it was right next to the speed bump. So it gave you no warning. So by the time you've seen the sign, you're hitting the bump and it was doing no good anyway. So I took a picture of it and then I just never posted it. I totally forgot about it until a couple years later. I'm driving by and the sign said speed bump. but it wasn't a new sign. Like you could tell that it had still been in,
Whoa.
it had been worn out. Like there was a big piece of like the glossy corner of it was wore off, and so like I'm thinking, well, maybe they just changed the sign and didn't have a brand new one, so they put up a used sign or whatever. So I went back and I pulled up that picture, and the picture that I took, years ago, and I knew it said speed hump because my daughter was with me, and it was a joke. Every time we drove by it, I would, say it, and she probably got annoyed with it. But when I went back and looked at the picture that I took a couple years ago said speed bump on it.
No
Wow.
way. That's the trippiest one
Uh-huh.
I've heard, dude. That's crazy.
Back to
That
the
is
future
crazy.
shit right there.
I mean, you guys joked about
Yeah.
it and stuff. It was that. Whoa.
Joked about it for
Yeah.
years. She would get so annoyed. I'd drive by and be like, speed hump. And she'd just roll her
Dad
eyes
joke.
and be like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
you said that joke a million times, Dad. Yeah. And
We have a lot of evidence
yeah,
of
and then when I
photos
told her about it,
changing like that for the Thinker statue too, where people have, everybody that goes there photographs the thing, and it's been through like 6 different changes, and the photos have been following the changes, which is insane.
Whoa.
yeah, right.
What'd
Yep.
your daughter say
But the
about
people
it, Josh?
standing in front of it. What's that?
Doing the
What'd your daughter?
doing the wrong pose. Yeah.
Yeah, your daughter. What did she say about it?
She likes the Mandela effect. She
Yeah,
doesn't quite
yeah.
believe in it or doesn't know what it is. She's not real interested in it. But every once in a while she'll come up with her own. Like she came down one time and asked me, "What's the name of that band called System something Down?"
Of the Down.
And I said System of a Down, and she thought it was the Down. So she's finding them. But yeah, she was like, "Oh, that's so weird," and so like she was intrigued by that one because she was with me the whole time, and
Yeah.
she knows that when I showed her the picture, she couldn't believe it, but yeah,
That's
she's
a
not
good
super
one,
into the
man.
Mandela, but yeah,
Yeah.
but it was a good one, yeah.
That kind of changes it for me actually hearing that, because that's like, wow, that's trippy. That's trippy, man.
Yeah, I got a video on my channel. I put it up I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago or whatever, and it's at the very end. But
That's cool.
because I went on a road trip to New York and ended up getting a whole bunch of pictures of like residue in like real life of pictures I took, because I like finding it in real life and taking the picture myself, and so that way I can just say, well, I didn't just find this on the internet, somebody photoshopped it or something. Like these were actual pictures that I took. So I made a compilation little video of all the residue, like stuff that I found. Like there was an Uncle Sam bobblehead in the gift shop at the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. Like, one of the most, patriotic cities and, like one of the founding cities in America. You'd think that they would get Uncle Sam's hat right in the gift shop on the bobblehead, but it had the stripes on it. It wasn't white. You know what I mean? It had the stripes like we all remember. So
yeah, cool.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, totally. That's trippy. I enjoy it for some reason.
I love the Mandela effect. Yeah, I mean that was the reason I kind of started my channel. Was to post videos like that, and then this series kind of is expanding into other stuff. But yeah, that'll probably always be my favorite thing to talk about is the Mandela.
That's
I have
crazy.
mixed emotions. Like I'm glad that people are seeing it and they're realizing how fluid reality is and that sort of thing. I think that's good. That's healthy. But for the most part, I detest the Mandela effect because I like having a solid memory, and I was a really good speller. And now, can you imagine? Like I brought it up to several people, but I'll tell you guys too, man. Spelling bees must be a freaking nightmare now, dude.
Oh yeah,
Must be a
Yeah, right.
nightmare. I mean, if you took an older person like me, I'd still be spelling things the way like I don't want to be affected by the Mandela effect. I go by the way I learned things and sounded them out and phonics, and you know what I mean. Like I'm never going to change to the way things are now. So what would my score be like now?
Wow, so
Dude,
much
I used to like ace the spelling bees, dude.
Yeah.
And now like the simple word like
right.
cemetery doesn't even have an A in it anymore. Now it's 3 E's. Like I'm not going to
What?
spell that. You know what I mean? But
That's insane. That's insane.
that whole I before E except
Sure.
after C, that is so out the window now. You get everything wrong because of that rule.
Yeah, right.
Wow. That's
so Mr. Super, Did Dilemma have an M in it for you? Do you remember Dilemma?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dilemma, yeah. When you
exactly.
get something that's like totally outside the norm, you have a special way of remembering that word, so you never get it wrong. So yeah, everybody learned it by saying it the way that it is spelled, dilemma, and then just not pronouncing the N, but you knew in your mind that it was there. For what? But since it was there, I'll always spell it that way. And like turmeric, I'm never going to put an R in turmeric. It's turmeric. It's not turmeric. Sorry, not.
I ain't doing it.
I ain't falling
Yeah,
for
I
it.
did a little bit of a short about that one too. Because I found some clip I was watching. It was totally unrelated, but these guys were talking, and I think one of the guests on the show, his last name was Turmeric, and it was spelled like like the way it currently is spelled, even though it was his name. And the host, when he introduced him or something, like he like stuttered and was like, "Is it turmeric or turmeric?" Like because he didn't like he got confused when he was introducing him. So yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. So I made a quick short on that one, even though it wasn't really evidence or residue or anything, but I just thought it was funny.
Oh yeah,
But,
fascinating, man. Yeah. Awesome, man.
So I just got word in the chat that Sandy is looks like she's running pretty close to on time.
Okay.
She has her show set up for 12:05. So I figured if you want, now might be a good time. We got about 25 minutes to take a quick break. And you want to show your new song, Mr. Super?
Yeah, dude,
We'll do that.
you got it, so you can play it. Man. Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's cool. I got it up and ready. And then after this is a new song from Mr. Super, hasn't even come out on his channel yet. He told me he'd let me play and premiere it on this show tonight. And then when we get back, Joe, you still have that the interesting topic we can do real quick for a few minutes after the song about the U.S. presidents.
Oh yeah, I can. I think I can just find. Yeah, I can screen share. Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. So yeah,
before you play this video, man, I want to say that Josh made this video for me. So this is my mix. Nobody has seen before, and Josh made the video, and I think it's freaking awesome. Thank you, Josh.
Oh, fun, nice.
Yeah, it was just good timing. I just happened to fall asleep early last night, so I was up early this morning, and I get a phone call from Mr. Super and being like, "Hey, I can't look at a screen right now. My eyes are bothering me, but could you throw a video real quick together?" And so I hopped on the computer and sent it over to him. So yeah, it was fun. I love doing stuff like that. So
dude, I know it was only like a 2.5-minute video, but you jammed that thing out. I don't know where you got all the source video for this. I mean, it's impressive, dude. And you,
I just went to open source.
Hope this is good.
Open source. Yeah. So, all right.
Okay.
So we'll take a 2.5-minute break here, and let me get presenting, and we'll come back and talk about some U.S. presidents.
Cool.
Everybody mute up if it doesn't automatically mute you when he starts playing.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
In the cool of the evening when everything is getting kind of groovy, call me up and that's what I can go with you and see a movie. First I say no, I've got some plans for the night, and then I stop and say alright. Love is kind of crazy with a sweet little girl like you. You always keep me guessing, I never seem to know what you are thinking. And if some fella looks at you, well, it's for sure your little eye will be a winking. I get confused cause I don't know where I stand, and then you smile and hold my hand. Love is kind of crazy with a spooky little girl like you. Spooky. You're not what you seem. All this kind of crazy with a spooky little girl like you. Okay. Oh. Okay. Oh. What a ride. You guys are muted.
Oh, yep. I was
Awesome,
talking
man.
away. Yeah, that was awesome.
Awesome. That's cool, man. I got to go back and watch. I had to run real quick. So
Oh yeah, that's good.
I'll premiere it
yeah.
on my channel right after we finish our stream here. I'll make it live.
Do live.
Sounds good. All right. So what do we got? What do we got about these presidents here? This is the one I've been looking forward to. I mean, the other stuff was fun and interesting, but yeah, I want to hear what you got on this one.
See here. So are you guys? So what I did was I was geeking out on the Lincoln Douglas debates because we have Douglas County over here, and I was trying to figure out what was going on with that, and because there's a lot goes into it. Douglas was like the big guy on the railroads and all this other stuff, and so as I got into it, I found, have you ever seen this here? Let me see if I can do this. All the presidents. Okay, you see that there?
Oh, here, let me get you on screen here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm sure everybody's familiar with George Washington was not the first president.
Mm-hmm.
He was, I think, what was he? The 16th. Several men held the position of presidents before Washington. John Hanson, Elias Bona, Thomas, these guys. So all these guys in this paragraph were the president before President Washington. So it's a completely, I think it was 16 of them, or however many is here. Well, one had an easier list. So I was just looking at this going, why did he do it? It's just like the year. Now, the year started year one for a reason. It wasn't,
Exactly.
and it's Jesus and everything else, but also it's for the timeline. Pope Gregory put this timeline out. And I always thought, why did he do it that? It has something to do with the sky clock and how everything works. And then all of a sudden something occurred to me with the presidents. I'm like, why would they all of a sudden make George Washington the first president?
Right.
President number one. Well, I think it's because, I was going to try to find something with Trump on it, but you had to make Trump the 47th president, the 45th president, right? That's 4 and 5 is 9. And then you had to skip a year and make him the 47th president. So that's 11 to make him the 9/11 president. And it just occurred to me, they set this whole thing up so George Washington, so it would come in the timeline and work out perfectly so that their boy Trump would be the 9/11 president. And that's all that was. Yeah, that's all. And I hadn't told anybody about that or said it out online. I'm like, maybe I can say it here real quick and put that idea out there.
Yes, as soon as you said there was that many, I didn't realize there was 16 previous, and I was just thinking that would really throw off the numbers as far as the current jackwagon.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I thought you were going to go a different direction with that. Like honestly,
really?
As you were saying that, and you were asking why we have to skip those 16 presidents or whatever. I was thinking you were going to go with the theory of, I'm sure you probably heard about it. I don't know if it's a mud flood theory or something, but my buddy has been talking about it the last couple months about there's like a period of time of like 900 years that they just kind of erased from history.
Right.
And are trying to, and so I thought that's where you were going with it, because you know what I mean? Like they just cut out this timeline of history, and maybe that fell in with it, but
right, the eyes of the one, and
like
it is all
I'm not sure.
related. Yeah,
Is it? Yeah.
I think it has
But
to be.
I have, yeah, I've heard about the theories about the president Trump being 45 and 47 for a reason, along with, you know, having to do with the numerology, but it never heard anybody connect it to the 9 and the 11. So that's, yeah, it's super interesting.
I'm the smartest boy in the room today.
Dang.
Well, you should, yeah, you should make a video about it, and you know, see what
Yeah,
you can dig up and show, because I would be interested in watching that for
I like
sure.
the
You know, even though,
patterns. I like patterns and follow the
oh, the
pattern.
background.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
lead to stuff.
That guy. I got you. Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah, numerology is very fascinating, or gematria.
mm,
It,
it
yeah,
is.
that fascinates me, but that's a rabbit hole I don't have time to go down. I got
Big
too
time.
much other stuff to look into, but I do like listening to an occasional video about that. Very interesting.
Yeah,
Me
the
too.
gematria guys get crazy, man. They're like, you
Mhm.
know, oh, they'll get into it.
Yeah, they make all kinds of connections that I would have never, you know, never even thought of before. Uh, but yeah, super interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I'm like, oh, I figured this would be a cool place to just bust that out real quick, you know, and what it means
Yeah.
is whatever. But he's always got his 47, 45 hat constantly on, so you can't get
Yeah,
away
right.
from that 9/11, man. Can't get away from that.
Yeah, especially if you
Yeah.
think about it, you got 45, and then, you know, right next to each other, 45 and 47 right next to each other. So it just basically says 9/11 right next to each other
Mhm.
if you add them. Uh, very interesting.
And
Yep.
then the
Yeah.
slap in the face, like
So
I
do you
told
think?
you, there's always a slap in the face. Making the national emergency number 911 is the slap in the face.
Right. Yep. 1968, I
Yeah,
think.
Got a problem? Dial our big problem number.
Yep. Now they got a whole TV series about it, all like 5 different shows. You know, they just put it on there as much as possible. You know,
Mocking.
mocking. Yeah.
They
All
love
the
it.
kids. Yeah. Yes, sir.
it's crazy. It makes you think how long they've had this planned out in order for it to make it all work. You know, work out this way. You know, like, I mean, this
Well, the more you
you know,
look
these
at it,
plans
the
have had to
longer
been in
the
work for
longer
years.
that timeline grows, Josh. It would be easy to go back just to like 1948 and say, well, okay, that's when really World War III started. Right?
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
they planned on 3 world wars all the way back to Pike, and if you keep going back farther, you figure out that 900 to 1,000 missing years and everything being jacked, the calendars being jacked, time zones, you know,
Yeah.
a bunch of shit all happened in a very ancient time frame. So I mean, they've been at it longer than like people live. So it's not people that are doing it; it's principalities.
Yeah.
You know, the I and the one, you know, do you add 1,000 years? Are you taking 1,000 years
Yep,
away? And I think
I's and J's.
overall, everything's older, and you know, but as far as the timeline, yeah, they could have took, you know, 1,000 years away, and really it was 900 or something like that. But
Easily.
yeah, easily. It's funny too with all the stuff we look at in all those buildings and stuff. And what was it in the Roman times? They called it the Reconstruction time, I think, when they had the 3 Caesars at the same time. And they try to explain away build all these buildings in that time. Like, okay, they made a real effort to build stuff. You know, just one of the little things that they try to do to explain how you know everything was done or whatever. That's like I forget what it's called, but you know, just so many lies, so much,
Yep.
so much stuff. You know,
Well, that's what we're here to talk about, is try to uncover some of those lies and find the truth. As you know, kind of why I started doing this, and you know, just want to talk. I just like talking to people and, you know, having good conversation. So
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys being here. We're getting kind of low on time, and I don't want to
Awesome, I appreciate the
make
opportunity.
Sandy's
give me the
show late,
opportunity.
but yeah, anytime you want to come back, you're
Yeah.
always welcome. You got my number, and yeah, just shoot me a text or
Dude, I
email
really
or
appreciate it.
something anytime. And
Yeah, for sure,
thank
man.
you.
For sure, man. I'd love to
Yeah,
come back on.
yeah,
For
yeah. It was a
sure.
great talk, and we didn't even get really deep into anything, and
And thank
We
you for
did.
having me
we're
on,
almost
guys.
at 2 hours.
And Joe,
So
I'm so glad you did a show for us.
We always scratch the
yeah,
surface. You can't
yeah.
get
We
into
always
everything.
want to leave them. Yeah, leave them wanting more. Is what I've
Yeah.
always heard. So yeah, you're welcome back anytime. Anytime. I
Thanks,
appreciate
man.
it.
Awesome, buddy.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Super, for making it all happen. Everybody in chat, man, it's been super fun.
It has been super fun. You got a song, Mr. Super, that we can play on the way out here? Anything? Any preference on something you want me to show? I'll go through your channel here real quick and pick something out. Oh, he's muted. Well, I guess that means that I get to I get to
Right.
pick if he doesn't.
Oh man, I got a bunch of favorites.
Oh, you got one?
I've used so many on my videos and stuff. I like all this stuff, man. These
Yeah, I do too. Like I said,
Mhm.
Nothing Else Matters. The
Yeah, that
Metallica.
one's good. Yeah, they do that one.
Let me see if I can find that one real quick.
Play the Alhambra commercial again.
What'd you say? You were kind of robot-y.
Oh yeah, I'll put my I'll drop my link in there.
Oh yeah, definitely put your link into your for your channel into the chat for sure. Everybody go check out. Yeah, I've been watching your videos like for the last couple of days, just sitting at work.
Man.
You've been to some amazing places, some beautiful places.
Yeah, that makes my day, man.
Right.
Yeah, that's I don't know if you looked at the one about the Donner Pass up there.
I did. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah. That one shows that to me, if you look at the guys playing the music up on top of that mountain, they're like 1,000 feet above everybody. And the way the sound comes right down to your ear. I mean, even down to the parking lot, my wife was sitting in the car and it sounded like it's right next to you. Like that just shows to me engineering of the place, just like, so.
Like an amphitheater.
Man. Awesome, man. I'll mute up. Thanks again, buddy.
Yeah.
So appreciate it. And we'll talk. Like I'll tell you, we talk about that guest. Maybe you could have. I'll see. I'll talk to him and see if maybe he wants to come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely send in my information, and I'd be happy to talk to him. Yeah, he sounds like interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, here, let real quick. I guess probably should do a quick shout out. We got a couple of new people, so we'll go back as far back as I can read. So I got Tiniest Squish was first. Joe King, Mr. Super Sidewinder, Sandy Diva was here. Boston Array, Mudflood Adventures. Rebecca 345, Boston Array. We got. We had a good chat tonight. Mona K, Salad was here. Noel Stinky Inn was here. LJ was here. I know we had Jared Jaguar. I haven't got to him yet, but I remember seeing him. I got Salad. There's Jared. CT Gordon was here. Ken Rotman was here. Couple of new people. So yeah, so it's always good to have everybody come in. I appreciate. I think that's the coolest thing about doing these lives is Splatter was here, is just seeing people in the chat. The people actually show up and are interested in what we're talking about. So
me too, man. Me too. Like you said, it doesn't have to be this huge 20,000 channel and stuff, man. Just us. It's all we need is us, man.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I like the smaller channel, and I think other
Mhm.
people like the smaller channels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't go to a channel that's got 20,000 or 50,000 or a million subs or whatever. You talk in the chat just goes so fast that you can't
Yeah, I
see
got trust issues,
what
man.
anybody's saying. Yeah, we got oh. I know they were here before,
Noise
but I don't.
Guru, Rebecca 345, Boston Ray, Scott Level Realm, Salad.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't see Noise.
Yeah, he came in
I
toward the
missed
end.
that one. Yeah, I think. Okay, yeah, I'm getting close down to the bottom. I'm scrolling as fast as I can.
Jared Jaguar in the house.
Cool. Yeah, I think that might be it. I think you got the last couple, unless somebody else popped in. If you're just popping in, say hi in the chat, and we'll get you when I get down to the bottom.
Oh, we had a new one that I didn't recognize. CT
Oh.
Gordon.
Ragamuffin Vision.
Yeah, Ragamuffin just showed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. There's Noise.
It's funny how you notice someone you haven't seen, huh? It always stands out. You're like, who's that?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I like newcomers. That's how we grow.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah. Jared Jaguar jumps in at the end, pushing button 62. I don't know if I even said pushing.
Yeah. How'd we
But yeah,
miss
we
that?
can't forget him. So, all
So
right,
then
guys.
you're gonna go hang out at Sandy's after?
We're going to hang out at Sandy's in 5 minutes, it looks like. So that's just
Okay,
enough time
cool.
to go up and refill my iced tea and hop on the show. So thanks
Hook
again
my
for being here,
pal
guys.
Ragamuffin up with a wrench during the song, if you could, please. I know you've been giving out wrenches.
Oh, yeah.
And he got here late, but you wrench him. He's my pal.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, if he's your pal, he's he's my pal. So
I vouch for him.
Auto pal.
right.
Auto pal.
Yep.
Love you guys. Thanks for doing
Love
this
you
stream,
too, brother. Appreciate it, man.
you, Joe.
All right. Yep. I got now.
Really
I
good,
got to go
guys.
back and find the video. Oh, here we go. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. We'll see you in a few minutes over on Sandy's show, and have a good night. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.
Noise Guru just put in the chat that Sandy is still flickering, so you do have some time if you want to play several songs. Just to let you know.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, I'll see if I can find another one here while this one's playing.
Another brick in the wall. I told you, Gabriella can count like a machine, dude. You watch Another Brick in the Wall; it'll blow your mind how tight she counts, man.
She counts. What do you mean?
She counts better than a drummer. As a musician, like background, if you count off a song and then you check it back with a metronome, most of us like deviate quite a bit. This girl counts like a freaking machine, and that song is like the best example of it. It's crazy, dude.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like the ones with Gabriella. She's good. So.
All right, guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute.
All right.
Me too.
Cool. See you guys. See you guys over in Sandy's in a few. Yep. Later, guys.